Good day, Una. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is Reggie Cole, the Master Dream Builder. I am responding here to a gentleman in Black in the Park. I think his name is Yaya. Sorry, Yaya, if I miss your name, because I can't go back now and look at the thing. And today, I think some minister or government official, I don't know which, went on to the television. Today is the 9th of March, 2025. So like yesterday, probably, went on television and they talk about, let's talk proper, how they for privatize healthcare, not healthcare, electricity. Sorry. Una left. Una stop this nonsense. First off, according to Africanist Press, $500 million in loan had been taken under APC, EBK-led government for electricity. That's number one. Number two, another $500 million, according to Africanist Press, has been taken under this SLPP government for electricity. So now we don't spend $1 billion on the people's heads. Mama, where they bump, you walk all the walk now this life. There's another bill that don't put na you aid when a 1 billion. Mama where they kamakwe, all the work when you work like this life. There's another bill that don't put na you aid when a $1 billion. Now you get for pay that day. You pick it, and pick it, and I get for pay that money day. But state today will not get electricity. Then the panic suggestion to the unassuming Sierra Leonean crowd, both in the diaspora and at home. Now, if I can't talk about privatization, let me can dispel for now that privatization is the biggest scam in the world. There's nothing smoother than privatization to scam. And the beneficiaries of this scam are the politicians sitting and making the white paper to privatize things that are the government's responsibilities and the shareholders of that company. Margaret Thatcher and President Reagan turbocharged privatization in the West. They did. You know what's happened? I will read for you later as we go along what's happened. Let me tell you how privatization works. In fact, wait, just give me a second. Let me read it for you. It's very important. Let you see the outcome of privatization. So you can't even deny. You can't even deny. I must give you this first up front. Let me take let me turn on the light. Right, privatization is mostly run by banks and lawyers and accountants. But the bankers, what they call themselves venture capitalists or PE, private equity houses, okay, they're at the forefront. Then they get to take the lawyer them and the accountant there with them, right? Listen to what Thomas Jefferson said. I'm going to read this very slowly. And you, anybody, long we can put pound for pound, anybody, put a bet. Tell me, say this not happen now in England and America. Watch. UK and America, watch this. This is what it said, Thomas Jefferson, in the 1800s. If the American people, substitute American people now for the West, or any country, in fact, any country. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. When you take that Baba we born Bonkolenke, that is we born Bo. Now then get the gold and diamonds and everything else that go. This is the heritage. When you take that and you put it in private hands, you've deprived the person of their heritage. So I'm going to tell you now, let a pull a call the lane of say this guy, if he says Sabi Olchin. This, by the way, get me talk about offside rule. I know Sabi Dandy. Get me for mow lawn. I don't do it. Get me for paint a house. I don't do it. I only talk about things there when me don't investigate to the core and have authorities to back what I'm saying, guys. Privatization of any kind is a scam. Okay? Now, not take me word for it. Let's go to some big dogs then, world renowned. And you like PhDs, let's go and they get PhDs. Maybe this will make sense for you. Okay, let's do this. Robert Reich, former US Labor Secretary, Minister of Labor under President Obama, said, privatization often leads to higher costs, reduced service quality, and corporate profiteering at the expense of the public. Noam Chomsky, political theorist and economist. Privatization is the transfer of public institutions to unaccountable private tyrannies. Chris Hedges, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. Privatization is the death of democracy, handing control of essential services to corporations that exist solely for profit. Yanis, the former Greek finance minister. Privatization in Greece was a disaster. Assets were sold cheaply to foreign investors, and the public lost control over its own economy. John Stiglitz, Nobel Prize-winning economist. Many privatizations were outright theft. Public assets were sold off to cronies at a fraction of their value. Han Jun Chang, development economist, Cambridge University. The idea that the private sector is always more efficient is a myth. State-owned companies can be just as innovative and competitive. Point in case here, British Airways, which is a misrepresentation in itself, for those of you that are familiar with my case, British Airways. British Airways ain't British. It's owned by Iberia. Okay, group. Not a British, so they need to change that name because you buy your ticket fees in a British Airways, you go, no, it's not British anymore. It's owned by Iberia. Okay, then privatizer. British Airways came last in the world, or I think Europe, for long-haul flights, for quality, everything they came last. Guess who that is number one? Guess who that is number one? Singapore Airlines, and it's owned by the government. What are you talking about, people? Privatization does not work. In the movie Pretty Woman, in the boardroom scene, where Richard Gere had a talk with the old man, where the old man asked, I say, well, what do you do? Now he said, I buy companies and strip them off for parts for profit. That's what privatization is. How many proof do you want to keep doing the same mistake? Right? How many proof do you want? Let me give you 5 companies in the UK that have privatized and failed. Thames Water, my good old friends, I talk about these all the time. They have no competitor. Zero competitor. I can't turn my tap on right now for have a shower in other water come on. Now Thames Water they come on from. They have 12 million customers. 12 million. 2 years ago, Thames Water made 18.9 billion in profit. They paid their shareholders 18.1 billion in dividends. Tax-free, by the way. Then 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, then go back to the government, say we need 3 billion for run the enterprise. We don't have any money. Who said that 3 billion did come on? From the taxpayer. There is no private sector business which is being propped up when it's failing by the taxpayer. Only privatization, right? Okay, now let's go. So it's owned by foreign investors. Its priorities are shareholder profits over public service. Then dump shit in the rivers while paying executive millions. They're not paying no tax in the UK. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Kuseg. That's why the UK has today the 70-year high taxation that they don't ever see since the Second World War. Because the corporations that already don't privatize, are supposed for me, they pay them corporate, if I mean they under the government hands them for the pay them corporate tax, they don't. They privatize, they export their profits. Southern Rail, public transport, massive ticket price hikes has happened. It's cheaper for me to fly today to go to Spain than it is for me to go see me picking na university up north. Do you understand this? Workers are exploited. They bring in 0-hour contracts, poor wages, poor labor conditions. Any society will not take care of the least of us. It's not a society worth hanging on to. And the UK and USA are seeing that. And UK taxpayers have had to bail them several times. UK taxpayers don't bail them private companies several times. I thought you said they were going to be efficient and lean, and they know what they're doing. You know, it's a racket. British Gas, profiteering, again, another place where you don't get option from the source. British Gas is British Gas. They can call it any kind, this gas, that gas. It's all British Gas. Same with British Telecom. It's all open reach. If you want Skyna, you like when we get a mansion at Kingswood, you get Skyna, we strain for a week because guess what? We skip the bit where it means we get for now BT first for car lady line before Skycar because I'm a brand new home. You understand me? So what are you talking about? It doesn't work. British Gas, profiteering while raising prices. Bonuses to executives while failing to reinvest in infrastructure. Capita, government services outsourcing. Took over government functions, including the NHS. The NHS went in the cost every day. By the way, that's the trick the politicians use as well. Noam Chomsky has got a clip on the internet, on YouTube. Go look at. He said when they want to privatize something, they frustrate the public with their service, with the government service, so that when they come out to the public to say, we can't privatize, the public don't really buy into it. We don't care. Get to somebody who might be able to run it. It doesn't work. Royal Mail. Royal Mail was sold off cheaply in 2013, now struggling while investors take profits. They increased the stamp prices, but cut the services. Royal Mail used to do 2 deliveries a day, first class and second class. Now nothing, 1 delivery. So you used to be able to wait at home. If you didn't get a contract for sign, you used to be able to wait at home or something like that. You used to be able to wait at home before you go walk around, may not go up first class. Now first class, second class, all the car, same time. Yeah, past lunchtime. That means you don't miss a day, you don't miss 24 hours. All right? Does not work. Does not work. How privatization harms nations. Let's go for this one. Abuse of labor contracts. We don't tell you to say privatization. 0-hour contract and Bianca. Okay? Low wages, job insecurity. You know what? Alan Greenspan, go look at him. He talked in Congress, say how they non-feed with the economy. He was giving testimony. He said we manufacture job insecurity. Alan Greenspan, who's the head of the Federal Reserve at the time, under Clinton. Go look at him. Guys, success leaves clues. All this information is out there for let we learn and grow and not make the same mistake. What are you talking about? Price hikes. Basic services like water, electricity, and transport become unaffordable. Yeah, you go look someone at the UK, looking at news like shaping and complain. This one I love. These two. Now I love. No contest. We're not even argue. No contest. Exported profit. Private companies take revenue out of the country. UK water companies are owned by foreign investors and profits are extracted from the UK. Therefore, if the profits are extracted from the UK, they pay zero corporation tax. Loopholes and offshore accounts mean these companies don't pay tax. Water stroke energy companies make billions but pay little or nothing. So can you tell me again where privatization, in the manner that is being suggested, go benefit the people of Sierra Leone? You're being raped and pillaged again. But you see, brainwashing is a powerful thing. Like I can tell people there, everybody get good and bad in them. Me when they talk, so I get good and bad in me. Me not a saint. Okay? Now I need Jesus Christ. But here's the thing. Trump get one good. When Nilek, Trump, he no say what he talk na rubbish or he no say what he talk na lie. But he get one thing where me go teach anybody where no use them for the thing where Trump they use destruction. But if you get a point that you want to hold on to in this life, make sure say you repeat it, because guess what? Otherwise, the other points that were now repeated, like when people effect for privatization, when you not ever benefit from privatization privately, you've never benefited from it. Why are you defending something we don't proven saying are the biggest scam in the world? Because you've been told so. Now, like the average with man, if you say Africa is poor, the richest continent on planet Earth, then it's impossible. No, don't label it poor. You can talk about poorly managed, corruption, this and that, but you know we'll say Africa is poor. So privatization does not work. And the one proof, the second country in the world, when it comes to GDP per capita, I even checked on this morning, is what do you call that thing? Singapore. Okay? They have Temasek Holdings. Now I can understand when you talk say, if you talk say, oh, you move some functions from government in hand, yes, but you don't privatize it. The government creates commercial entities that run on commercial terms, which is why, if you hear me audio yesterday, I talk about the 16 private companies running the 16 district by 16 CEOs. That's our winning formula in Sierra Leone. Okay, now, Temasek Holdings is 100% state-owned investment company. It runs like a business, but the profits go back to its people. Can you say that of any private entity? Can you say that when Jamil Said may get 82% rights to buy every commodity? When you go shit na Jamil Said, I don't make money. When you eat sardine, Jamil Said don't make money. When you buy lunch on me, Jamil Said don't make money. Can you say that was the thing? No, it wasn't. Why would you come and defend something that has failed? Okay? It runs like a business, but profits go back to the people. Own stakes in key industries, energy, transport, telecoms, without selling out the country. If Sierra Leone adopted this model, it can develop its own economy without losing control of its wealth. Please, you can bring the Harvard Business School MBA, triple, quadruple. There is no way you would argue with me on privatization being good for a country. Zero way, zilch. The UK has raped its people, and so is America. How come Ushaden they make the most research for medicine? It's the most expensive for medication in the world. In America, you could work all your life, and if you get one sickness, you go bankrupt. It's the most expensive healthcare because it's all privatized. It does not work. Not so because Whitman saying you're gonna believe they're privatized. It doesn't work. The job of a government is to create a thriving public sector. So where DMV Solace, I will send me check. I don't know you guys, but I see your advert all the time. Where DMV solos get a restaurant, brother. The only way the government get for check in and a hygiene. Hygiene. Let the market forces decide how much DMV solos they charge, and the customer will decide how much they pay. Now, DMV solos were open all over Salon as a franchise. That's up to them. That's a government intervention, Andy. But I tell you, it's a government responsibility for make sure that DMV solos get light and water. That's government's responsibility. Those jobs, the government is the parent. We are the children, the citizens. The parent, until you begin go of a certain age, you have a certain right for feed and clothe them. That's the job of the government. When you see talks of privatization, sometimes you don't even know, say, Mother Bio, this all a plant, right? So it will get underneath the private company. Again, shares in the privatization, my friends, is a failed experiment by Thatcher and Reagan. And the sooner you wake up to it, the better we will bring Salon outside supposed for go. The proof's in the pudding. How come Singapore has more GDP per capita, over UK and USA? How? Because Lee Kuan Yew did not follow blindly waiting with man and tell him. And this is the beauty of life. This is why we're human beings. We're given our brain cells to think. Animals don't have that. We can make logical, we can think. We can decipher things. Privatization does not work anywhere in the world for its citizens. It doesn't work. It appears to first starting to work. But long term, there is no value being built for the citizen. And I wonder why anybody would come out and say this. All your mines are privatized. Where's the benefit to the average Sierra? Where is it? So why would you support something that hasn't worked? Come on, man. They make this argument very, very difficult. Today I was going to talk about fisheries, but now don't get me off track on this stuff. So me don't know if I'll get time to do that now, but I'll see. Privatization does not work. Pull on your vocabulary. It doesn't work. Has not worked anywhere in the world. Find me one place where they work. We don't benefit the citizens, them, not the shareholders and the politicians. Find me that country there. Does not work. Does not work. I told you guys, I'm going to do a book this summer. I already got the contract for it. It's going to be on the decline of the West. And it covers 3 areas. The export of production, family, and privatization. Those 3 things are responsible for the decimation of family and privatization. Those 3 things are responsible for the demise of the West. Salon, take courage now, and this last bit where I can't tell you so. We still get one way they function. I wonder if you can guess. Okay, we'll not ever crack production yet. We'll not begin producing nothing of significance. Okay? We've been privatized. Like I said, the mines. Like I said, from Jamil in 10. Okay? NDMC, then I made them closer. SLP, I made them closer because of privatization. Okay? So, we don't be affected by 2. We're never produced. And we've been hurt by privatization. But we still get one thing in favor. We still get a tight, neat family structure in our villages. You see, we got to look for the good. We still get that. And we need to maintain that whilst we rectify the other 2 points. We start producing and we kick out privatization. Has not worked. Any politician will tell you so is a scammer, he doesn't understand what he's talking about, or is just stupid. Good afternoon, my UK and Sierra Leone people. Good morning elsewhere in the world, especially over the west coast of California, which I know that you listen to my messages and you ask to send you them on a daily basis. This time is second audio today because what I plan to talk about this morning, when I wake up this morning now, I found this privatization argument going on, which today I've debated in several groups, Black in the Park, Formidable Bulldozer, back and forth. I think people are starting to understand what I mean. I don't ever question, say, at the point of delivery, privatization might not work. That is not the question. The question is, if you have a house and now you get out, but all of a sudden you remortgage your house, or even worse, you sell your house. That's what privatization is. The gain where you mean they get when you had your house, when you mean they pay your mortgage, you are building what they call equity. You buying the house, you're moving in the direction of financial freedom. You're building equity. So if we had to draw up a balance sheet of your life, every year that you're paying down your mortgage, your liabilities are going down, and your asset, just by that virtue that you're paying your bills, your assets are going up, which then makes your shareholder equity at the bottom line. Three key things on the balance sheet. Pardon me, on the balance sheet: the asset, liability, and the shareholder's equity, right? That's it. So it means that need to go up naturally anyway. But here's what we're missing. If the value of your house is going up, but now na rent you the rent when you mean get a house the day before, you're not benefited. That's privatization. Something that belongs to you by nature of where you were born is now being taken away and rented. So the state still has use of it, maybe, like we in the UK have use of Dartford Bridge. We have use of electricity. We have use of water. But it's been sold off, so we now rent we they pay. And when they pay, and when your landlord decide for jack that rent they up, like what Thames Water don't do this year to 53% increase, you can't do anything about it. Because in privatization, what they tend to do, they work on monopolies. They're not a privatized chicken shop. They work on monopolies, right? So monopolies, when they also then get you by everything, you cannot do without them. You can't breathe without them. In the main. I'm not saying every 100% or not, nobody can argue with me. But now, as you listen to that music, Sweet Jamaica, I remember I was in Edwards Primary. Patrick Lambert, the great lawyer, now I heard that he is. You know, it was I think my classmates, but we all go to school together. Maybe it was 1 year ahead of me, I'm not sure. Yeah, beautiful sister. Everybody wanted to date Patrick Lambert's sister. Nice girl. I never actually got to speak to her one-to-one, I don't think. But anyway, nice, beautiful lady. I hope she's well and alive. And Patrick, I see you doing great exploits on your law. That's great. But when you listen to music like that, I remember Edward's Primary get afternoon jump. So I'm a child. I'm Edward's Primary. You know, they listen to music like this, and I remember in this one particular jump, DF Shears, not Shears, Shears, the late DF Shears. I think he Can't Stop Day or whatever it was, but you know, the beginning they enjoy. You know, if somebody asks me what Salon Suite, then if you talk about that particular day, Salon Suite. But really, has it been sweet? I hear different arguments and different forums today that they argue. Say from where the man the left way, I always say that, but I heard other people saying it. From where the man the left way will not make no progress. It's true. We have just taken time to get to this position. And I want to dedicate this particular talk actually to Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara, because Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara, now your characteristics of connotation, your perseverance, now make we all can wade in pan this talk. You know, you could have been a funny song called Colorman and Street Logo Fets. They all go to watch TV now, so we sit down with comfort zone. They say, look, they don't chop on our hands there again. You could have done that. You could have said, can't be bothered. Matter how much you are giving me, you are giving me waiting 50 million, I'll take 50 million, man. Come on, man. I'm in my 70s, not Agoshido. No! You have stood against tyranny. You stood against people that will wash a nation of 8 million people their eyes upwards. You stood on principle. And this resonates with me because I suffered as a child because my daddy stand on principle. I never could understand it as a child. I never could understand that he take Pashaki in deal. Let we all sit down in the same swimming pool lifestyle. Let we get with no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to mix politics and my business at this moment in time. So for that, we paid a huge price. We paid a huge price that I could relate to the number of lives today in Sierra Leone, where they pay a price for where you to stand on principle. This is not about Dr. Samara Matthew Wilson Kamara, but it just kind of reminds me, we are all here now. I was asked to become a blogger. Somebody called me and say, that audio you list, but you know, go the for we did this. So now every time now I pull something, somebody they appreciate them, and because of that, I take my time before I can talk to owner. And I can't talk loose choco. I really take my time before I can talk to owner. The fact of the matter is, whether it was Dr. Samura, it was Temu Bangura, it was Michael Jackson, if somebody stands on their principles, say they win an election, and this is the crossroads that we're in, because anybody will compromise on this matter, you'll compromise on everything. You compromise on everything. And that is not a sign of a leader. You must have absolutes. Positions that you say, no, I won't do that. I will not stand for that. That's leadership. Everything else is you're just in a position. Okay? So this is why we all don't come on now. Almost people don't come on, new bloggers, and they are at the Pratt earlier, instead of come back now. You know, blah, blah, blah. They're waiting. Yes, because we cannot sit and watch this moment. I don't care who you support. Don't get me wrong. This is not about you supporting Dr. Samura. No, we're talking about the principle that there was an election on the 24th of June in 2023. Whose results? The desegregated result. We haven't got. Well, I'm not saying in my matter, me saying I net them in born me, but not till last night. We want to see a result. Then we go move on. But anyway, not to the politics me campaign, me and the economics me campaign can talk. So somebody may say, well, now the Black in the Park room, they ask, hey, boy, me man, now you talk about tourism, now you talk about this, you know, if you go down at the ground for see how the country they, I don't tell you. I don't care about the state of the country. That's not your default position for worrying about the state of the country. What you got to do is to have a strong why. Why is 3 letters, WHY, but are the biggest question you go ask. Even God show you that, you know, so God show you that. For we were picking them now English born, whatever, and bread. I don't know that the question whether they go ask us alone, but me, I go only relate to me picking it. What do they ask you? You tell us until them is small. Why, Daddy? Why? How God will give somebody such a strong gift of a 3-letter word, of all the words they can say? Why? 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 Dexter, no. Why? Ray, no. Why? So why is a big question. Why is the biggest question you can ask yourself to find the solution to a problem. So the why, when we make our whys big enough, why we need for Bill Salon now? Some of us in our 50s, this is our chance to wade in and help this country and its people. After we own generation, if we don't make an impact, the Pekine, like when my own Pekine don't call, they're not interested. Because all they don't see is misery after misery after misery after misery. Some of the Pikidem whose fathers and mothers were ministers under Sheikh Stevens are not even interested. I know, I've spoken to a few. They're not interested. So if we're all not interested in this country, how would it get better? That's why we're wading in. So why? Because it was Friedrich Nietzsche that said, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Jim Rohn said, the late Jim Rohn, when you know what you want and you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it. John Maxwell said, find your why and you'll find your way. Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are the days you are born and the day you find out why. John F. Kennedy says, JFK, not a JFK lawyer, and I refer talk to her. Effort and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Sierra Leoneans, I'll calm on down just quickly before I go into the commercial side of what we'll talk about. Why are we where we are? Why? It's 2025. Why are we in chaos? Why would they let somebody who not get election results? The 22-year, unemployed, council flat living, illegitimate president. They spend 70 million on private jet flights that APC, the opposition, are conniving against the people of Sierra Leone. We no get electricity, no get water, no get good education system, no get good healthcare system, but your representatives we're supposed to put the checks and balances in place and letting everything pass to the point where then take £1 billion, $1 billion worth of loans to sort out electricity, and now then they talk about privatizing that bit of the economy as well. After $1 billion, according to African Express, has been raised. Where's that billion? Where's that billion gone? That now they talk about privatization. But that's not why I came here today. I came to spend matter in 70 million in something we was apt. I know it was apt because I said the miracle happened. So about in January, was it not January? January. Some lady, I think she was in the ministry, go talk to some people and say, well, I'm not fishing now for a month. I've never heard that kind of joke in my life before. That's a joke. The people in Daily Bread, you tell them to stop. You don't know if let me stop or not. But it turns out yesterday, as I turned on that bit, which I can see on my phone. Nah, fish. The fish in the tower, the fish said they come on normally. Then the tower can't be by themselves. Can you see something? I thought, at one point I thought, artificial intelligence, when they happen now. So the fish in the tower, they say, no, we don't know the water too much. And the sun don't begin warm. Then they fly themselves, come on the water. I make it into comedy, but it's not comedy. So we get to a country where God don't bless we with everything. Literally, Sierra Leone is blessed with everything. You name me one thing Sierra Leone not blessed with. Name me. Mountains we get her. Water we get her. Gold we get her. Diamond we get her. Platinum we get her. Meat we get her. Fish we get her. Why are we poor? Why are we poor? Is you being Timini in your Timini group, has that helped you? You being Creole in your Creole group, has that helped you? You being Mende in your Mende group, has that helped you? You being Fula in your Fula group, really, has that helped you? And all the other tribes, Loko, Limba, the lot. No. Why don't we become a nation where we win the Champions League of economy? At least I'll start in West Africa first. Yeah? Now we locals. Why don't we want to be the Champions League winners, the cup winners? And what does that mean? That means, say, if we want to be the cup winners in this region, we for put the best players on the field. Never mind if they're not Timini, never mind if they're not woman, never mind if they're not Mende, Kranko, Kisi, Limba. Let me put the best people in at the field and stop this clique. It has not worked, guys. You know what? Me and I'm for mind if you walk. If we APC come in and put all them team in it, we raise up, everything happen, we win. What you go complain about? If SLPP come in and put all them in there and Shabo there inside, everything they work. But it hasn't worked. It has not worked for 64 years come next month. What you call that in? What Independence Day are you going to celebrate? How can you be independent where a ship in your waters, you owe the 90 million, I make you dip and blackout? First off, how can you be independent? You get a ship where they supply you from Turkey. Turkey has so much electricity, they put on a ship where they supply you. You say you're independent. How can you independent where MCC9, they talk about $400 million, they hold you hostage, slap you 2-3 ways from Sunday for $400 million. You're not independent. How can you independent where you say election one can and get for sponsor you? You're not independent. You're a child. You're a baby of a country. You're still sucking your thumb. You sit up by your nappy with soil at this moment in time. Because you don't get electricity, you don't get water, you don't get the basics in our life. What are you doing? You're not leaders, you're just older people. Leadership is a choice. Age on God given her. Yeah, leadership is a choice. Just like being a man, male, to be a male, now automatic. You either come, that's in the swing, or you come, you get the other team. Then you don't get choice in that. But to be a man or a woman, it's a decision. So is leadership. Okay? So now we'll spend this next 5 minutes here. We spend this 70 million. We matter. Don't waste. To a guy we already now a multi-millionaire. Okay? Where the APC and NGC, see don't watch matter. They use we money like this. 70 million. So I'll put 70 million now to the fishermen. Them. I guess you may know something that I want to talk about. We'll talk about the fish. So now look at this. So we modernize the fishing industry for our people. When I talk about the Chinese coming in, we say our people. We will train them. We say need for be trained and so on. So we train them for meet EU export standards. That are the European Union people. We train them. We establish processing plants for high value seafood exports. By doing so, we're going to create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. We're going to boost GDP, right? You know, and foreign exchange earnings. We're going to boost both. Yeah? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's take this slowly here. We're going to take off the 70 million we might don't spend to somebody else to get modern fishing vessels. We would spend 20 million per Nandi. And I'm using these numbers, right? We live in an age now of leasing and having things on contract. We don't need to spend this money in cash, you know. That's the beauty. So, but anyway, earmark 20 million to buy state-of-the-art boats equipped with GPS and sonar and freezing technology. So whilst they're there, they're not going to rush back. And they're out there for a month. Then they freeze. Then we have the processing and packaging plants. For fish processing, canning factories. Okay, for EU exports to EU standards, we spend 15 million on that. Then we get the cold storage. Remember cold storage and logistics. We set up cold storage hubs in key ports and invest in refrigerated transport to take them from the storage to the harbor. Fishermen training and certification, which we can organize for like 10,000 local fishermen instead of to use them canoe. Why canoe 2025, man? You know why? Well, we can get good trawlers, them even used trawlers for then 10,000 local fishermen. We upgrade fishing harbors with modern unloading and storage facilities. We get regulatory and quality control. Like I say, to help our society move on, sometimes not to salon man who go bring, not to salon person go bring to do this job. Because no let nobody override and say, "Bo me man, no. So we want somebody with a pay like an expert to come make sure say, because if we lost that certification day, we lost the rights to Marks and Spencer, Tesco's, and so on and so forth. Then we promote Sierra Leonean seafood now in Europe, Asia, and even within Africa. Now the 70 million that they now don't spend so. But here's the result of this 70 million. Fishing men and boat operators, 10,000 jobs. Processing plant workers, 7,500 jobs. Logistics and cold storage, 3,000 jobs. Regulatory and compliance, 1,500 jobs. Port and infrastructure staff, 2,000 jobs. Export and distribution, 2,000 jobs. A total of direct jobs created, 26,000 plus. Okay, direct jobs, 15,000. Indirect jobs, 11,000. That includes supply chain, transport, and packaging. All right. So waiting at the outcome of all this activity, this 70 million, where Madam you don't spend to Thomas Floor or VistaJet, where the APC don't see them, KKY they're all, where working at United Nations ought to know better. See don't and watch that money they go down the drain. Okay. So total fisheries, GDP contribution will be 300 million. Yes, to start with. And then it scales up to 1 billion within a short period of time after that 70 million investment. Okay, annual export revenue would go to 500 million. Fisheries employment would be 76,000 in total. Fish and processing capacity will be 100% EU certified. Government tax revenue would be 100 million plus. Cashbox don't do the economic analysis. He say the actual production of Sierra Leone itself, forget all the other add-ons, is about 400 million. But imagine that 70 million they turn to government tax revenue alone of 100 million. Tax revenue. Hey, bo. So we can increase the GDP on the fishery side from 700 million within a short time to 1 billion definitely under 60 months. Salon in fisheries, in fishdom. Now God make the fish, not made in Sierra Leone. Now God said, sometimes fish and they don't travel. So no, say a salon fish, not a salon fish. Now how we are perceived in the world in which we do this fish, now ain't go matter. Okay? How this changes Sierra Leone ends illegal fishing. Because we will take people that will train them for let them go inside the mechanized boating system, the trawlers. Okay? By then, we will have the police. Both police them, where they make sure, say, foreign trawlers where they come illegally fishing, will stop. Them fishermen, them what would they take for granted right now in canoe in 2025? It go boost the local fisher people, the fishermen, local incomes. We're going to be 5 times more within the earn right now and more. We're going to increase food security. We should not run out of fish. We're not with the Atlantic Ocean. We're not going to run out of fish. We don't talk about this. You go stop exploitation from foreign companies. Global recognition. Sustainable growth. Another string to our bow. Is that the word? Is that it? Right? String to a bow, bow to a string to a bow. I'm not even sure right now. I'm a bit tired. But they go add another aspect where they go point say Sierra Leone for fish. Right now, they're not called Sierra Leone for fish because we need to do them in a proper manner. And I understand saying a matter bio imposing in our fisheries. So UADD, that's 70 million day. My minister, I think, is a woman. That's 70 million they matter don't spend. Pan junket money when I go ever come back in a salon, could have created a £1 billion industry in the last 5 years. In the same time, we might have don't spend that 70 million. Where APC watch matter, they spend the 70 million. Where it's clear now, say, both APC and SLPP don't connive against the people of Sierra Leone. Yeah, we could have created a £1 billion industry revenue base just like that. The same money, not a magic money or not a juju. Like what I'm can say, not a pan lelemo, not a pan kush. It's costed. You can't argue with the numbers. That's one thing I've learned in my life. You cannot argue with numbers. So Sierra Leoneans, what kind of Sierra Leone do we want? And why do we keep supporting the same old death trap of people there? We don't bring us to 64 years of abject failure, darkness, hopelessness. Don't divide with society. If you remember, I got to speed up. If you remember when we were young, there were certain classes of people that you talk to, and this and that. We had a class system. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but you know, all that's gone is shattered. I got friends in a salon, they tell me, say, but yeah, woman in a salon, not so real love, boo. All that they would damage society because of economic activity. That's why Ecclesiastes 10:19 says, a feast is made for laughter, wine maketh merry, and money answers everything. If we don't get the money right in a salon, hey, we will go another 64 years in this same cycle. We have to get the economy right. And to do that, you have to have the right people and forget whose tribe they belong to, forget whose power or suko they join, forget whether they go bondo or not, forget whether they're your friend or not. You need to get the best players on the field. Now, finally, APC, I want to not go demand Lona executive they resign. We're not go before without that happening. That's why I ended this Saturday. Thank you very much for your time. God bless.